Good morning, Tasha.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Just still there were some updates to the presentation, so I was like, I'm not gonna log in until I have this done.
It's just the one presenter, right?
Yes, yeah. We just have that one.
Gotcha.
Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. I was like, where are all my options?
So did they upgrade the Zoom account?
Yes. Sorry, I
Oh.
thought I had sent you an email.
No, not a big deal. I was just curious.
And then are you cool? I made you co-host to let people in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome.
Oh, there's already 5 people in the waiting room.
Oh.
Okay. Are you good with letting them in, or you want to wait?
We can let them in now. Yeah. Hello, everyone joining us. How are you guys doing?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. I feel like that's the new norm. Everyone just is like, what child will I hear or see? or pet also. So because it's more than likely, not today, but my new puppy decides that she wants to be on camera. So how is everyone doing?
Doing pretty well. It's great to see you, Kristen.
I know. Good to see you, Jamie.
No, it's been a minute.
I know. I miss just walking down the hallway and seeing people right now. Right, like I said, I was talking about my dogs. That's who I see on a daily basis.
Do you have your 1 million cup?
I do have my cup. I have water in it today, though. I feel like if it's gonna get hot, I need to hydrate.
I know. I miss the delicious coffee and the occasional scones.
Oh, I know. And part of me feels like it won't. The cafe probably won't at least be open until school's back in session, but we will see what happens. Have you guys even been in your office yet? Yeah.
I am sure we'll have a day that's devoted to resetting the office.
Yeah.
But that day has not come yet.
Yeah. I would just stay away for a while. It's okay. Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Just kind of like making sure my background's all clean.
It's all right.
No. I brought a little fill light so I can kind of like cast some of these shadows off. That's what you get for having a filmmaker on board.
Exactly. Then you know all the tricks and.
No.
Well, I just so you know, I just put your slides via Sue into this presentation, so you can just tell me when to click next.
All right. Yeah. They're numbered. It should be fairly simple, straightforward.
Good. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to everybody who's joined us. It's July. Can you guys believe it? I know we've been having the discussion of, when might we all get back together in person. We're hoping maybe that will be next month, but we'll keep everyone up to date if that will be next month or in September, pending what's going on with COVID. At the end of the presentations, we actually just have one speaker today. I'm going to cover a couple of different resources that are around the community to help companies right now during COVID. So stay online. I'll share those links in the chat, and hopefully you can pass those on to organizations and entrepreneurs and business owners that you know, so that we can help each other out. So, but it's good seeing everybody on here. So, Erin, I know we missed being at the studio, so we hope you guys are doing well down there.
We miss having you guys there too. Yeah, we're doing well. We're just only kind of one of us in there at a time right now. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on things, and hopefully we can get back there soon.
I don't know about anyone else, but I'm ready for, second Friday art walks to start up again, just to get outside and see people.
Yeah, we are too. It's surprisingly a lot more work to try to plan out a virtual one.
I can imagine.
And just let it happen.
And I'm sure, maybe this is a question we can ask Dennis after his presentation, but I'm curious to know how, filming, art, music, how everyone's kind of coping throughout COVID, and how, we all as a community can help, because I know that is a struggle right now. So
yeah, a lot of people are really kind of seeing the importance of having video content.
Mm-hmm.
People, I was talking, and people aren't getting burnt out by it. I was talking to folks at Dead Center, interviewing them, because one of their concerns was, doing Dead Center virtual was, would people be sick of movies come June, because they've been, quarantined up and since, March. And no, that wasn't the case. People were still very much engaged. And
well, they're also all finishing Netflix, so they're ready for new stuff. Well, we'll get started. Hold on, for some reason, there we go. So make sure, if you haven't downloaded the app, download the 1 Million Cups app. It's a great way not only for you to check in and to see what's happening, but then you can also provide feedback to our speakers every week. And it's a great way for us to track everybody who's attending, so that you can go into the app once you log in and you can hit check in. So I'll make sure I do that in a little bit. Again, we have our organizing committee that is listed here. So for those of our organizing team that are able to participate today, thank you. And you can always reach out to any of these individuals if you would like to present, or if you have questions about getting involved more with 1 Million Cups. Again, 1 Million Cups is an organization with the Kauffman Foundation, with the focus on having entrepreneurs and businesses share their story in a 6 to 8 minute time frame, then with a question and answer of the community, so we can get to know more about the entrepreneur and how we can better support them within the community, just so that then we can help provide access throughout the Norman, Moore, Oklahoma City, and expanding areas. So thank you again to our sponsors. Though we aren't present and having our coffee, we're always thankful to Norman Arts Council for providing us with our location. And we have More Norman, who provides us with our coffee, a Day Creative with our marketing, and of course, Norman Economic Development Coalition with all the support of the organizing of our different events. So today, we're going to have, as I mentioned, one speaker today. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want. It also allows a lot of time for us to kind of engage in maybe future steps as to how we're helping our communities. But we have Dennis Spellman, who's here with the Show Starts Now Studios. It's dedicated to adding adventure, sharing knowledge, fostering collaboration in people's lives through shows and events. Dennis has joined us at previous 1 Million Cups to learn more about stories of Oklahoma. And so it's exciting to have you here and to share a little bit about your business and what you're learning while you're out working with other people.
All right. Hello, adventurers. As I said, I am Dennis Spillman. I'm the founder of the Show Starts Now Studios. I kind of got inspired by places in New York and LA you go there, you go New York City, you can be part of like a live studio audience. And I started thinking, it's like, why can't we do that here in Oklahoma? And so that's what the show Starts Now Studios was all about. Is kind of bringing that live studio audience experience right here to, Oklahoma City, Norman area. And I've actually already kind of started doing that in some ways, as we'll see on the next slide. I have a couple shows. Yep, there we go. I have 2 shows right now that are kind of on hiatus due to COVID, but I did launch these last year. Some live studio audience shows. Yes Science, which is a kind of a science-based talk show that interviews women in STEM. So not only we kind of get to learn about them, we kind of learn about their job, kind of give people, showcase all sorts of exciting careers in science that people aren't aware of that exist. And then we also kind of like do a little fun science experiment, which is a favorite. And then my host, Pala, she's a librarian. She also talks about books. So there's a bit of a book discussion in there. So you got this fun talk show that we're doing already with the live studio audience. And then there's Art and Victory, which we do in collaboration with the Norman Arts Council. Where we just kind of bounce around from different art galleries. It's a panel discussion series for creative entrepreneurs. Sometimes the topics are industry specific, like how to make a podcast. Other times they've been more broad, like how to handle yourself on social media. So we're already kind of doing some live setups. We're able to kind of do very mobile, just kind of go around different venues already with current technology. Eventually the dream would be to have a dedicated space where we can just do bigger productions and just get real crazy and elaborate, and we're like every day of the week, because you go to New York, there's a show being filmed and taped every day, even in the mornings, the afternoons, your sitcoms, your live sketch, just the whole gauntlet. So I'd like to really bring that here to Oklahoma. We have so much talented people. I know it's possible. It's just a matter of this and that and time and everything. But in the meantime, I've also been doing other shows that aren't necessarily live. As we'll see in the next slide, I do several shows. The most popular one that people know me for is Uncovering Oklahoma, which is a travel and interview series highlighting creative people in the state of Oklahoma. I've also do a couple other series. Colorful Escapes, it's just kind of something on my back burner right now. It's kind of a travel show, a global series that highlights art and colorful destinations. I have Quarter Minutes, which is kind of like a fun series, like to do with friends, where it's basically the premise is like Twilight Zone, but super short, like usually like less than 90 seconds, just fun little weird stories. And probably one of my other more popular shows is Tales Unveiled, which is a podcast docudrama series about 2 fictional characters that interview people in Oklahoma about their ghost stories and strange urban legends. And so that's been really fun to do. What separates this podcast from other podcasts locally is, again, myself and my host, we play fictional characters, kind of this sort of Mulder Scully dynamic. My character is very skeptic. His is very much a believer in the supernatural. But we interview people about their ghost stories, their paranormal encounters in Oklahoma. So that's been really fun, and it's just kind of showcasing a lot of history. Sometimes the topics do get very dark because we are talking about death, so it can be quite interesting at times. But again, those are just some of the shows that I'm doing right now. I have so much more plans to do more in the future. The studio is kind of like a way for me to like incorporate all my ideas and start working with more people and bring on more great content out there. I guess that's pretty much the gist of the studio and kind of what I do. I also been helping out just different organizations, helping them out with their video needs as well. Some of you may know I helped out Namron Player Theater, bringing their production to online. I've been live streaming a lot of concerts for people lately too, just to kind of survive and just kind of help out different organizations. So I don't know where we're at on time. If we're gonna go to the last story for more. Yeah, you can visit online. You can see all the shows at the showstartsnowstudios.com. If you love what I'm doing, support me on Patreon. You can get like early access to the shows. You can provide beta feedback on new stuff that I'm working on, including stories that I'm writing. Of course, you can also simply follow me on social media at TSSN Studios. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The handle's all the same. So you can kind of keep up to date on all the different shows that I am currently producing and find out the latest about the next live show that I'm doing and hopefully attend.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dennis. This was exciting for me. I'm sure we're going to have some questions. I think for anyone who's maybe new to online video content, can you explain a little bit more about what Patreon is so people will be aware of what they'll see when they go to the site and then how that supports your business?
Sure. Patreon is the best way to describe it. If you're familiar with Kickstarter, it's kind of like that for artists. It's more like on a monthly basis. So it's basically kind of like a monthly way to support artists on a regular basis. A lot of times artists, it's kind of like a one-time thing, like I buy this book from you or I buy this, album from you. Patreon's kind of a way for like more reoccurring content and rewards for supporters. It's a great tool for artists. Definitely highly recommend if you're a creative yourself, checking out Patreon.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to open it up to the community to ask questions, and for whatever reason, I cannot see everybody's faces. So, okay, there we go. I fixed that. So if anybody would like to start with a question, feel free.
I can start with one.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I think I'm curious how you make money. I guess. I mean, I know you got Patreon, but I think it's really hard for people to understand sort of how creatives like can put a bunch of stuff together and have like 5 or 6 side gigs and actually put together a career out of it. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and
Sure.
how once all of your programs really start getting going, are you going to sell advertising? Like, what's the best way to have a revenue stream?
Right now, it is. I'm in that startup grind phase, so I'm kind of pulling from various revenue sources. I'm doing a lot of freelance work that's kind of basically supporting some of the creative stuff. I'm also doing sponsored and branded content as well. I've done stuff with Embark and Ride OKC, just to name a few people I've worked with, kind of doing special, episodes. I worked with Embark. We did a episode about ghost stories along the streetcar. So that was a lot of fun. We've also did a collaboration video with them highlighting downtown in December using, again, the streetcar. So that's one way I've been able to just kind of work with brands and kind of be able to like create content that promotes what they're doing as well. I'm also, again, Patreon's also another source. And I'm inching towards, I'm kind of struggling with some sales tax stuff like right now, but planning on having more merchandise as well. I just kind of like
what about for the live shows that you do? Do you do like tickets or is it open for the studio audience?
Right now, it's a free. I try to keep the shows, the tickets free right now. Eventually, we'd probably start doing, but right now we're trying to build up audience, and we'd rather have a full audience than a bare audience.
What is your average audience size?
Right now, we just did last year. We were averaging anywhere between 10 to 30 people. But we've also been kind of working with a lot of smaller venues. I'll be honest though, there've been some shows that maybe we had like 2 or 3 people, but we had great views online too, and up in the thousands too.
What are a few of the stories that you've been able to share through probably more Uncovering Oklahoma of businesses and new things happening in the state that you would love to pass on to this community?
I'm actually working on a story right now about some of the bike trails that have just been finished being built around Lake Stanley Draper. So if you haven't been to Lake Stanley Draper in a while, they got this bike trail that goes all the way around the lake. We've kind of been sort of biking parts of it, just kind of because it's a huge. We're not that fit, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I think more people should know about that. There's also new public art that's being installed throughout around the lake as well. So I'll be interviewing some of those artists pretty soon once some of their work's finished. Some of it's still in construction. I've been talking with some of the Arts Council about that as well. Oh, and I got a question else. Oops. So for Uncovering Oklahoma, I do very much documentary style videos. I mostly, because I live in Norman, I don't have huge budget right now. I kind of mostly focus around the Oklahoma City metro area, and my target audience is teen and young adult. So I kind of steer towards that demographic when it comes to some of my stories. So I tend to stay away from more antique type places and kind of more focuses on like restaurants and retail and outdoor adventures.
Do you have any current partners that help like spread the news about your show?
I do collaboration videos. So most of the time my videos are very much documentary and it's just about the business. Like I'm not like in front of the camera most of the time. I'm just kind of more behind the scenes working from the show. But every now and then I will do with either local celebrities or food bloggers. JB's been a guest host, just to name a couple, Apollo, and just other people that really aren't on this social media scene, just kind of like guest hosts. And so they would again help out promoting the businesses. Of course, I always try to make even though the video is made for my audience, I always let the business see it too before it goes live. So if there's any like mistakes or something, we can quickly fix it. But the businesses themselves are also, always happy about being promoted on a video. So they're generally pretty thrilled and they also share it. So every time I do a story, whoever's featured on the story also shares it too. And that's how I've been growing, just kind of this organic way.
Do we have more questions?
Is that how you, oh, sorry, Kristen.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, is organic growth, do you intend that to be your approach to continued growth, or are you hoping to do something more structured?
Well, I'll definitely be doing more structure, a lot more paid, bus billboards. I've been told that's actually surprisingly pretty effective. Ads on the bus signs, or not the bus signs, but the bus stops, excuse me. So we'll definitely be doing a lot more advertised stuff as well as I continue to grow. Right now with COVID, I'm kind of in that survival stage. I'm just now kind of easing back into featuring places for Uncovering Oklahoma. So I'm just kind of right now just in that survival mode. Oops, and we got another question here. Yes, I would love to have a staff. I've been I really kind of also want to like change the film industry in a way with the studio. Eventually when we have like our own dedicated space, I'd like to have everybody just sort of making their own show in a way, but where they can also sort of work on other shows too. So like they might have like one main show that they're responsible of, but they can sort of like hop in and like, oh, hey, I have some ideas for a sketch comedy for your Saturday Night Live type show. And so we can just have that, just kind of where it's like a whole bunch of group of friends almost, just sort of working together, making their own shows, but kind of using like shared space, shared resources, and shared funding as well. Kind of another revenue that I'm looking at in the future is possibly our own like Netflix app is something in our realm of possibility for us. Which I know a lot of people are kind of like, not another streaming app. And So I'm kind of been working on some ways to make it different, more community focused, being able to do some things that I think would be really cool, like be able to like buy merchandise from your favorite show right there in the same app, and kind of have more behind the scenes features, and even like fun stuff, like things that maybe that would be like you'd see more on YouTube, just like even stuff like makeup tutorials, or even like slow TV type content where it's just, you know, nature, you know, just lots of nature and stuff like that.
Hey, Dennis, I think that's really interesting. Have you looked at, like, is this something especially kind of, you know, amid COVID? Is that something that's happening, like these sort of like indie Netflix type studios popping up? I mean, do you know people in other communities that are doing this kind of thing?
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't know. I'm only kind of like tapped into more in the Oklahoma scene, so other communities could be doing something similar. But as far as I know, I haven't heard of anything come across my radar yet. But
Dennis, I might recommend, even though it's probably a little bit more live streaming, but it's grown, Rooster Teeth out of Austin.
oh yeah, okay, yeah,
yes. Yeah. I know they've had to do a lot of changes over the last couple of years, but you know, I always think of them as, you know, this online resource of video streaming, very gaming focused, but then, you know, they switched and they created a movie and they created, you know, anime and all this other stuff. But
I didn't realize they were in Austin. I might have to try to visit them and see, kind of learn from them.
Yeah,
but
they're close. They're like on the like central east side of Austin. We still live in Austin, so we got to work with a couple of them on some charity events. And I've known there was a student actually at OU who worked for them for about a year. He was doing like quality assurance with their online systems and everything, and somebody else was doing some freelance with their 3D animation. But one thing it kind of made me think of, though, is, you know, they do hire a lot of interns. I don't know if looking at like journalism, I know Gaylord has a whole production side. There's a faculty member who I think was supposed to retire, but there's a lot of students very heavily involved in going and getting content at different events. You know, they're the students who want to go to the gaming events or go to the art event or set up like a sports analyst booth outside of the stadium. And then, you know, with some of the high schools having AV groups, kind of going into your target market of, you know, the teens and, you know, maybe early 20s, those might be some avenues to kind of check into, because maybe they're creating the content, and other than just kind of sharing it with friends, it would be awesome to see, like exactly what you're saying, like this Oklahoma, you know, based talent and content that's coming out, because I've known more people who have asked for that content, and maybe part of it's just getting it out there to more people.
Collaboration is definitely a very powerful tool. So thank you for the feedback and idea. Yeah, I really should study. Like I'm familiar with Rooster Teeth. I kind of followed them like in their old Red versus Blue days. I haven't kept tabs on them a whole lot, but I definitely should look into them and see what they're doing, see what I can learn from them.
Hey Dennis, can I ask? You mentioned you do some freelance work to kind of support the creative side. Do you have a particular type of freelance work that you really enjoy doing? Like what kind of things should we be spreading your name around for if people are looking for a certain kind of video services? Do you have a specialty or a niche?
Yes, actually I have a couple of specialties and niches. Of course, you know, live streaming events is also a specialty and quite important lately. Live streaming concerts. I've been, if you've been watching the Sunday Twilight concert series with the Oklahoma Arts Council, I've been live streaming that for them. So that's also kind of a specialty of mine. Documentary and interview type stuff. Like if you want, like I did a bunch of interviews on behalf of Oklahoma Contemporary as part of their grand opening, which is delayed for right now, but so that's also my specialties. A lot of like interview type stuff and social media content as well. I'm really crafty at coming up with several bite-sized chunks of content. So you could have, you know, basically hire me for like a day. I can give you videos you can use for like a month, essentially. To answer the question, some of the challenges to building a creative business in this area is just some of them are starting to kind of go away, but it's just a lot of people in the past haven't viewed video or live streaming as a very important thing. Although COVID's kind of changed that attitude around. Right now, again, like just pretty much like any creative business is just getting funding and sponsors on board on, especially again, a lot of new media. There's a lot of people that are very much, like I only advertise in the newspaper, just kind of don't even see the value of social media, creating video content for, your Instagram and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like breaking down some of those barriers just kind of with new media has been a challenge.
All right, we'll take one more question. Anybody? I can always ask the big final one we asked too.
No.
All right. Well, the last question we always like to ask is how can we as the 1 Million Cups Norman community really help your business and what you're working on with the studio?
Yeah, pass my name around along if you're needing social media content for businesses, events being recorded for you, live streaming. Join me on Patreon. I got, like I said, all sorts of cool rewards. You get to listen to early access episodes, Tales Unveiled, including rough drafts of like nonfiction stuff that I'm working on, fiction stuff that I'm working on as well. Or just simply follow me on social media and just share from stories that interest you from time to time. I always appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dennis. We really
thank you for having me. Appreciate it. We're all getting up early and well,
no problem. And I think mainly probably for people who watch this recording, and we're going to share this for you, Dennis, so you can also use it to promote what you're working on with anybody in the community. Because now
my mom will appreciate that. So.
Yeah, great. But I think this is a great topic because of the fact that we're moving into this space of we can't physically be with each other, but there's amazing things that are happening in the community. We want to share them online. And there may be even more content that we're just all unaware of. And, if anything, it's good awareness to kind of look for Oklahoma-based content that we can share. So.
Oh, I forgot answer a question earlier about other people kind of locally doing some things. I just two names just popped into my mind. I can't believe because they're my friends. So Steven Tyler at Tower Theater. He's also been doing kind of has the Wafty, mostly harmless media. So he's kind of also been doing some stuff, and we've also been collaborating, talking about partnering up and doing some more stuff together. Chris Cox, who runs the nonprofit The House Helps, he recently brought Pride, the Oklahoma City Pride, online, doing kind of a whole week of virtual streaming. And so him and I have also been working together. So there are some local groups kind of doing similar things as well that I'd recommend definitely keep an eye on them as well.
All right, thank you. So just a couple of announcements. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We know it's nearly a holiday weekend, so some people have been taking off a little early. But there's a couple of events that are coming up. One actually happening today. Do I know if I'm supposed to be sharing this? I don't know. But I saw this come across my email. Oklahoma Commerce is having a COVID-19 industry call. Oops, sorry, that went forward. And so if you would like to join, let me put this link in the chat because I feel like that will be easier than you having to write it all down. If I can get Zoom to work with me. So let's see. And it looks like there might be other webinars kind of popping up. So putting in the chat right now the link for the Oklahoma Commerce event happening today. So make sure that if you're wanting to go, there's one at 2 p.m. if you want to check that out. There's also a number of other COVID resources. And so I'm about to put in a whole lot of links into the chat. But the community felt like these are just really good links to help everyone in figuring out what you're wanting to, how you're wanting to reopen, how you're wanting to reboot. So there are resources on the Norman Chamber site that are there. The rebootnorman.com site has updates on what they're kind of progressing with the city. And then there are also the overall Oklahoma commerce.gov website about doing business with COVID. So if that's content that you're wanting to learn about. And it looks like these webinars are happening every 2 weeks. So thank you, Joyce. So you can always attend another one if that helps. I saw that Norman Reboot is doing a Norman Summer Sidewalk sale coming up. I believe it's July 16th, 17th, and 18th. This is just a screenshot from Facebook, so you can find that event happening on there. Also, Ada, who is just 45 minutes south of us, they have been hosting these community entrepreneurship hours, so very similar to 1 Million Cups, but more of a conversation. And so they would love more people to feel free to join. I think this is a great time. Now we're having the shifting of slides again, the haunting of the slides. But if you're wanting to connect with Ada, I think this is a great time. Everyone's kind of connecting across their normal radius of driving because of the fact that we can do everything online. And then one thing I wanted to let everyone know about that has been in the works, the Innovation Hub, I2E, Francis Tuttle, and the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce have been working with a startup out of Detroit called Startup Space to create a website of resources for everyone who's wanting to work on a new business or working on their business or starting a business or wanting to make a product. We're calling our app that we're utilizing with them Launch OKC Metro. In August, we will actually have a presentation at the Oklahoma City 1 Million Cups that we will make sure to send out to everybody to learn how to use the site. The cool thing about the site is a lot of the different resource providers that are here on the call, we've been adding your information into the site, and you'll be receiving an email soon about how to claim that resource that you provide to the area. We can post events, we can have online chat forums, businesses can put on their business pitches or a revenue plan so that investors can possibly see it. So the idea with the funding from Francis Tuttle would be that this is open to everyone in the OKC Metro. So pretty much from Norman to Stillwater, I think is what we've talked about in order to find the online resources they need. And I believe it's going to be a great way that at least there's a one-stop shop and they can see who's available in the area. So stay tuned for that, and we'll send you the information, as I said, for 1 Million Cups Oklahoma City. I believe it's August 12th that we'll have their company will actually do a 1 Million Cups presentation to tell you about how they bootstrapped this company to get it started, how they're working throughout the United States, and how I think they even have somebody from the Kauffman Foundation on their advisory board to help in implementing this online tool for everybody. So finally, we hope that we will possibly see you all in August. If not, we'll keep you up to date as to what's happening as we progress with what's happening with COVID right now. So it was great seeing everyone today. And unless anybody else has any announcements, that's it. No announcements? All right. Well, everyone have a great day. Have a great 4th of July weekend and take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.